Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. Today we're going to be having a Wood Elves versus Greenskin matchup here. Very interesting matchup, I think. I think the Wood Elves, they can win if they do it right. And this guy, I played a couple of battles with him, but I didn't actually end up recording the first couple. He's pretty good at the Wood Elves from what I've seen. And so here we'll slow it down because these games always get so started so quick. So I have two black orcs here in the front. I brought these guys because the terror on the forest dragon hurt me in one of the last games I played against him. Here I have 4 units of biggins, and I brought these to counter treekin and any of those kind of units. On the flank, I have a goblin wolf rider here on each flank, and I have 2 goblin archers and a rusty heirs here to focus down any other big units. In the front here, you can see I have an orc boy and a 8 peaks loony here to try and soak up any initial archer fire, potentially the first volley. If they're not microing super well, will go on these guys who have shields rather than my biggins who don't. And so they'll drop very fast. I actually have 2 goblin wolf riders here on this side, and they're definitely going to be going after range units and any units who land on the ground if these 2 orc boar boy biggins die. And so I have these guys here in the back because I want to be able to catch anything that lands on my archers. And these guys are great because they have a bonus versus large, and they're generally fast enough to keep flyers on the ground. Here you can see, we'll take a look at his build. He's got 2 of these great eagles here scouting around. He's got a way stalker here with arrows of Kurnos. And thank God this place doesn't have very many trees, so I knew he must have been in this one. And in here you can see his blob all hiding. His blob, he basically has Eternal Guard, these Glade Guard with Starfire shafts. He's got a Treeman and a Branch Wraith and his Glade Lord. And that Branch Wraith, I'm assuming, just has Earth Blood and maybe one other spell, but mostly being used for Earth Blood there. And you can see he also has 2 Dryads. And this is very typical of a Wood Elf player. You're just sitting here. Arrows of Kurnos, your way to victory. Oh man, Wood Elves are silly. I definitely do not enjoy playing the Wood Elves. Too much kiting for my taste. I like to get it over with. I have a penchant for greenskins, as you guys have learned thus far. And so he, like a smart Wood Elf player, is shooting all his arrows of Kurnos here. Or, he hit me with something here. I think it was an arrows of Kurnos with that Waystalker. And he's definitely going to try and end my war boss so he can break the rest of my troops. Here you can see he came out. He has a nice uphill position, and me being a nice greenskin player, I'm going to rush the hill. You can see his Glade Lord running out here. There it goes. See, directly doing pretty good damage here to my war boss. I don't know if that would be better against the black orcs, but he's really going for a break the morale type of thing. And so I'm definitely going to want my archers here putting this tree man down. He's a big threat. He does lots of non-armor piercing damage, and so he's going to be good against my masses of orc infantry, except for the black orcs. You can see my guys pushing the flanks here. I'm a little worried about them, but I'm pretty confident in my ability to move away with my wolf riders if his great eagles come down. But you're going to see this great eagle are going to start going after him to protect their archers. And he's doing a good job of picking targets here. Definitely want to be shooting those black orcs with your armor piercing damage. Definitely a good move. So here he's going to chase, and he's going to miss micro. He might not realize that I drew them back, this eagle back so far, but my boar biggins are going to love this fight, and this eagle is not going to like that fight. And on this side, it's going to be a very similar thing, but my biggins are a little farther away. You can see my black works taking considerable damage already from that focus fire, and my archers are going to start firing, but they're not going to do much, because goblin archers are awful. Here you can see I move one of these biggins units out. I don't know how great of a move that was, but I just really wanted to keep these as many goblin wolf riders alive as possible. Here you can see I get into one of the archers on this side. You can see him targeting the Prey Van Rathima on my war boss. And so it's going to trap him there, and he's going to just start trying to snipe him out. Look, you can see he's doing a considerable amount of damage. But also you can see I'm doing a lot of damage here to this tree man with my own archer fire. I still have these loonies in the back. I've forgotten to bring them in. But you can see me casting, or that was him casting Earthblood on that tree man. These guys did their job. They stopped one of the units from firing. You're going to see me try and bring these or biggins around to try and find a flank, but he has so many of these spearmen in the back that I'm kind of hesitant. I'm willing to sacrifice my wolf riders to stop the firing momentarily, but I'm not willing to sacrifice kind of my orc biggins, but you can see my orc boar boy biggins. You can see I'm going to pull out of that fight. I'm going to bring these orc biggins in to try and clear up a way. I'm going to bring these guys back around, see, and I'm going to get about half my unit here into the backs of these guys. I've actually, where is my leader right now? He's in here. He popped his healing potion, and he's fighting against this branch raid. You can see, eventually, the main line, the Eternal Guard are not going to stand up to my biggins, my black horse for long. You can see this branch wraith routing. I definitely think these guys are integral part. Ooh, there you can see huge damage there. Even though I popped a potion, he's still super low, and so I'm going to just pull him out of the fight entirely. I think I might actually charge this eagle here. But I'm definitely going to turn these guys around and start shooting them. But here you can see he doesn't have too much left. I'm going to move my goblin shaman in here. He'll do fine against unarmored, like maybe one unit of unarmored opponents that don't have a super high damage or anything. He'll do fine. He'll hold them up, which was the whole idea. Here you can see I'm converging on this Waystalker, and eventually I think I got a tiny hammer and anvil here off with my biggins, and I'm going to pull them out and start chasing these few remaining troops. And really the only thing that can get me here is if my orc boss here dies and I somehow rout from fear. But I don't think he has anything that can cause terror left. And now it's just kind of a grind. I love the animations of these the archers in melee combat, how they still use their bows. Here you can see the Eternal Guard not being able to put down the shaman. Waystalker getting scared off, and you can see their Blade Guard with Hagbane tips. They're going to slow my wolves down, so they're harder to catch. And here I'm going to open fire around my my Night Goblin Shaman. You can see, still trying to get my war boss there. Shooting around some hero that you've already used all the mana for is a great way because their flanks are always exposed, and you're not going to damage your own hero very much, just because of the way Archer Fire works in this game. Here you can see his hero popped his healing potion, but that concentrated fire there is going to rout those Eternal Guard. You can see these guys get charged by the Orc Biggins. They're not going to like this fight. Oh. Yeah, that is just not the fight that the elves want right there. So I think there were a few crucial things here. Um, I really like having I really like the idea of having the Glade Lady or Glade Lord, yeah, Glade Lady here on a Force Dragon. It gives you a lot of extra hitting power. I also like the Branch Wraith pick. That's great. I'm not so sure about the Great Eagles. I almost prefer the Hawk Riders for their melee potential more than I like the Great Eagles. You can do a lot of hammer and anvils on armored units with the Hawk Riders because of their melee armor piercing attack, because they're essentially all riding eagles. And so if you recharge them here into like a Black Orc or something similar, or like the back of these Orc Boar Boy Biggins, you can do an immense amount of damage. Yeah, and definitely getting lured back. I like the idea of using these guys to chase down the Goblin Wolf Riders to prevent them from getting to the Glade Guard. Um, but with the Biggins, the Board Boy Biggins there, they definitely didn't get the most out of their potential. This Tree Man, my build, I didn't really bring anything that the Tree Man really would love to fight against. Because the Biggins here have anti-large, and these guys are armored, and he doesn't actually have that much armor-piercing damage. But if you put him up against, like, say, Savage Orcs, or say just the Orc Boys, he will completely decimate them. And these guys really, even if all they do the entire game is kill this, they've paid for themselves. So you do have to watch out about that sort of thing. I always like bringing the Waystalkers. More Heir of Kurnos is always good. The Dryads, I don't know. I really just don't know. I don't think they're useful, um, but who knows? And these Hagbane tips, if they were firing into, say, the flanks of the mainline engagement, I'm sure they could have helped. Say if you had shot one of the Biggins on the like inside of the line, maybe some of the stray shots would have poisoned both units, and that would have made their Eternal Guard here much more useful in the main engagement. Um, but it's very difficult to protect them, and I wouldn't even know how to do that. So, good game to my opponent, and maybe I'll bring you some more of his and I's games in the future. Anyways, that's that.